Welcome to Connection Point, a conversation series from the Link Group, where we go beyond the work to explore the passions, experiences, and curiosity that shape deeper partnerships and stronger insights.
Hey there, I'm your host, Andrew Borum. I'm a partner here at the Link Group, and today we're going to be focused on the early days of the company and what it's like building a business from the ground up. So I'm lucky to be joined today by Tom Pfeil, former owner and co-founder of the Link Group. Tom, you and I have known each other, 20 years now almost?
Close, yeah.
I've been at the Link Group 18. We knew each other for about a year prior to that, so about 20 years now. Link Group's been around 32 years now. You were here daily for 30 of those. Thinking back to, 1994, when it all started, how did it start? What problem were you trying to solve, or what was the kind of unmet need that made you and Brad Camrud, your partner,
Yes.
create this?
So there's it's a little bit of a lengthy story.
I got time.
Right? Okay. Part of it was circumstance, I guess is what I would say. So Brad and I worked together on the client side. He and I worked. He was on the marketing side. I was his research counterpart. So that's how we knew one another.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we both left that company at the same time, doing some other things. Brad kind of opened a one-man shop where he had to move to Charleston, South Carolina. There wasn't a whole lot for a brand manager in Charleston, South Carolina to do. So he opened a one-man shop doing some moderating, doing small quantitative studies. And he reached out to me as a researcher who he knew if he had a question on something, because the technical side of it, would I be interested in helping him out?
Yeah.
He'd throw me, $100 or something, right?
Yeah.
To do so. So we did that for about a year. That was in 93. And he and I got to the point where he said, I'm getting busy. Do you have any interest in joining? Right.
Yeah.
And I thought about the opportunity from the standpoint of, I certainly didn't like where I was working at the time. Corporate side, I felt like it'd be better in a entrepreneur type situation. Sure. So I said, yeah, sure, we can go and do this. In terms of what we thought was the hook or the benefit or how we could be different, what I realized from being on the client side of research is that back then, there was almost no customer service, right? There was tremendous nickel and diming. There was just not a lot of flexibility from the partners who we worked with when I was on the client side. And like anything that you would want to do, it was just a pain in the butt. Like it was really just they made it difficult for us. And we were like, look, that's sort of antithesis of what we think it should be.
Sure.
So what we said is, okay, we're going to try to do the opposite, right? Where we're going to, produce a really, really great product, but also do so in a way where we're providing, fantastic customer service. So much so that we're going to make it really difficult for somebody to leave, to somebody to quit the Link Group, right, as a client.
Sure.
Because we're gonna meet their needs in sort of every way that we can. And that, to me, that has been like the tenet for the Link Group since day one. That's what we've been trying to do. And I think that since we've got the 99% repeat business and we've got clients who've been with us for 20 plus years, I think that we succeed on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything you were in over your head on? Anything that you went, oh, maybe we shouldn't have taken this one on?
No, I think we were always able to figure things out. I mean, we did get a call from a client on a Friday at 2 p.m. and they needed to make a decision on Monday.
That's the weekend.
Yeah. And we designed the research that afternoon. We're in the field Saturday and Sunday in our mobile labs, we could talk about.
Okay. Yep.
If you want to. And basically got them what they needed on Monday morning.
All right. You got me with the hook.
Okay.
Tell me about the mobile labs.
So the mobile labs was one of the hooks that we had early on, which was doing research kind of like on site, like where the purchase decision happens.
Yeah.
And the good example would be we had a pet food company that was one of our clients, Iams Food. And we talked to them. We had a airport shuttle that we had converted to a interviewing area. And so we would pull it up in front of a Petco, right?
Yeah.
Or PetSmart. and recruit folks who were coming in and out, who had just been in the Petco or PetSmart, right, shopping for pet supplies. When are you going to be in think about a purchase mindset? You were just in that purchase mindset, 100%.
Yep.
That's got to be the best time to be able to get asked questions about it.
Yeah.
You could get asked about the pet food you bought 2 weeks ago. You might remember lots of it, but you might not remember some of the nuances, right? And so that was the hook. Hey, we can get you right there. And so it was.
So you said you'd recruit these people and then invite them into your van?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Did it have windows?
It did have windows.
All right.
This
is feeling a little bit better at least.
Yeah, exactly. And we used the heck out of that for a number of years. We actually would go and do it in other cities as well, where we would rent motorhomes and do the same thing and put our signage on the side of it.
Interesting.
So there was definitely lots of boots on the ground, you know, figuring things out as it went, which I think is also a little bit of what the Link Group is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if something doesn't go right, like you've always got a plan B and a plan C.
Yep. So, we talked about you having been here 30 years up until about 2 years ago, right? What's life look like now? First, let's talk about your role, because you are still involved with the Link Group. Tell me about what you're doing with the Link Group now.
So I've basically got two roles. One, the primary role is that I'm one of the board members. So we made the company be an ESOP, which means that it's an employee stock ownership program. So we sold the company to the company. And then all the employees are given shares every single year over time. So over time, it will become an employee-owned company. It is an employee-owned company now, but it will just become more and more over the years. And we felt that was relevant because employees had given so much to us over the years, and we've had employees 18 years, 20 years plus. Felt like it made sense to give that back to everybody else.
Yeah, can I stop you for a minute?
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit more about that decision, because it feels like such a benevolent, generous way to go about kind of an exit, rather than selling to another market research firm or selling to a venture capital. Tell me about what went into that and what you and Brad discussed to get to a place where you made us, the employees, now owners.
Yeah. So we had a discussion. We definitely had multiple discussions about it. And this was not the easiest path. I'll put it that way. Right. It was very time consuming, very a little bit of a tedious maybe to do everything, because everything has to be done really exactly because of the nature of an ESOP. It is a United States government program, right?
Okay, yep.
The Department of Justice looks at everything you do. And so there's tons and tons of rules associated with it. Be way easier just to sell to a venture capital firm, right?
Sure.
Or to a big research company. And we used to get requests regularly where people would reach out to us.
But you didn't do that because?
No, we wanted to maintain what we built. And I feel like, we felt that this was the best way to do that and be able to carry on kind of the legacy of what the Link Group was. The fear is that you sell it to a venture capital firm or research firm, that they're basically going to just gut the culture, right? And they just won't appreciate what I think is special about the company. And so, but we knew that the new managing partners would, right? Because they'd all worked here for a really, really long time. And so I think everybody wanted to continue moving in that direction. And it just made all the sense in the world to do it this way.
Let's get away from work a little bit, because you are on the board. That doesn't take up all of your time.
No.
What are you doing with your time? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Are you enjoying life?
Yeah, no, I enjoy life a lot. Folks ask me all the time what I do when I'm retired. What's retirement like?
Right.
And one of the biggest things before I get into hobbies is that I'm not in a hurry to do anything. And
sounds nice.
It's completely the opposite of how it used to be. I was trying to be the most efficient person I could possibly be at all times.
Sure.
Because there was sort of more to do than you could possibly do.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so I've really liked the slower pace of being retired.
You mentioned hobbies.
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit about what you're doing with your free time and what hobbies you're into. I see a couple things around. I see a pickleball paddle. I see a golf club. I assume by design.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I do have a lot of variety, right? So do lots of different things. But pickleball is one of my big hobbies. as is golf. And pickleball, I was a tennis player for like 35, 40 years, and transitioned to pickleball about 7 years ago now. I was introduced to pickleball by you.
This guy right here?
Right
Yeah,
there,
that's
exactly.
right.
And we used to play singles every once in a while.
Yep.
And then now I play mostly doubles pickleball. I have a membership to both an indoor and an outdoor place. So I play typically 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. I would say golf and pickleball are probably like the two stereotypical sports for retired people. How do you feel about that?
I feel okay with it. It's interesting. As we were thinking about doing this podcast, I was thinking about pickleball and golf are pretty different sports.
Yeah, they are.
Like very, very different, right? And for me, I'm going to relate it to research.
Yeah,
right?
let's hear it.
So there's both qualitative and quantitative research. And some people specialize in one, as do you. Some people specialize in quantitative, right? Some people do both. I always did both, right? I always was qualitative and quantitative.
Yeah.
And for me, I can find some parallels in pickleball and golf because they're so different. So pickleball is very fast-paced. You have to adjust on the fly. You have to, if something comes this way, you have to, okay, this is my plan going in. I got to do something a little bit different now,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
The pivot.
Feels like moderating a bit, right? Where particularly like in a focus group, right? Where you've got your ideas, but somebody says something, boom, you've got to change and you've got to pivot and you've got to move around. And so to me, that kind of fills that part of my brain, I guess, that qualitative part of it.
Yeah.
And then golf is much more, it's much more precise. It's much more
calculated,
tactical.
Yep.
So I see that relating to quantitative, right? Particularly an analysis on quantitative, right?
Yeah.
So how am I going to manage this hole, right? How am I going to, attack it?
Sure.
Same thing. I'm doing a segmentation. Well, how am I going to attack this data set, right? How am I going to think about it in such a way? And so I think these two sports like hit both parts of my brain.
Yeah. You mentioned that I'm the one who kind of introduced you to pickleball.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember that.
Okay.
So I want to hear, and I want our friends to hear a little bit about like how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm older than you are, so my memory's not as good as yours, right?
I don't remember it at all. Like that's news.
I remember that you and I had played some tennis together.
Right?
We
had. I do remember that.
And then I think you got so you were a member of you had a neighborhood.
Yep.
They had pickleball courts.
We did.
And so I think that you were like, hey, I've been playing a little bit of pickleball. Would you be interested in trying that?
So what then, after playing that once with me, what made you kind of switch from tennis to that?
I think a part of it was, frankly, that my knees were breaking down from all that tennis and sports that I played over the years.
Sure.
And pickleball is less demanding on the body than is tennis. You just have less ground to cover, right?
Yep.
And so so for me, it was a natural change. The other thing I would say is that, and Andre Agassi, the tennis pro, like he has said this, that pickleball is just so much more fun than tennis ever was.
Interesting.
It just is. And I think it's part of it's the closeness that you are to everybody, how fast the game is, but it's also, there's a social aspect to it, right? Like you're never really mad when you're playing pickleball. It's just, there's a lot of laughing that goes on, which is part of like, why am I doing this to begin with, right?
Yep.
Like part of it is to just have fun and enjoy your time with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned you used to play singles, now doubles. And I know in doubles, there's a lot of strategy and partnership, right? You can decide to attack the net and take the ball. You can decide to hang back. I would imagine there's also a lot of strategy and partnership with Brad, your partner coming up through the link group.
Absolutely.
How do those two things relate? How do you kind of think about your strategy and partnership, both on the court and in starting a business?
Yeah. So on the court, you basically think about the strengths and potential weaknesses of the two partners, and then also the folks who are against on the other side. But about my side, for example, it's better to have 4 hands in the middle. So if you're playing with a left hand, if I'm right-handed and I'm playing with a left-handed player, we will do something called stacking, right? Which is where, like, if I'm receiving serve, and I'm on on the right side of the court, which would put my backhand to the middle, right? Then my partner is going to just stand over here. He's not even going to be in the court. He's just going to stand over here on the side. And when I receive the serve and hit the serve back, then I go running to the left side and he fills in the spot so we can both have our forehands in the middle, right?
Yep.
So that's just one strategy, right?
Yep.
But you just figure out what the different people's skills are,
Yeah.
and you go for that. And so then Brad and I was similar, right? Brad was a little bit more he handled a lot of the financial side of like the real technical financial stuff,
Sure,
right?
yep.
I tended to be more on the people side of the business. So, and that's how he was also on the strategy, handled more of the strategy stuff than I did as well.
Golf is more of an individual sport. It's more strategic. It's more analytical, like we talked about. How do you balance the kind of ownership mindset of like an individual versus having a partner to work with? Like when do you team up and when do you handle things on your own? How do you know when to rely on another versus when to attack yourself?
So I think that we did a pretty good job of distributing tasks. So meaning that basically there were some things that I owned, there were some things that Brad owned, and then there were some decisions that were joint that we needed to be in together. And then obviously tons of stuff was coming at us all the time. And so there often would be this issue has come up.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna get together. We're gonna figure out how do we solve this issue, right? And when two people own 50% of a company, nobody has the say. I can't just make something happen because I feel like it, because I can't, because I only own half the company.
You got to get somebody else's buy-in.
Right. You have you have to.
Absolutely. So I got to tell this story because it's been weighing on me as you started talking about golf.
Okay.
I don't golf, as you know,
Sure.
but you and I just last year were in a charity golf tournament together, and part of that there was a putting competition.
I remember
it well. And I'm doing this mostly to rag on you, but you stepped up as maybe like 75% of the way through the participants, and you nailed the putt, right? You were like 11 inches from the hole. The next closest person was maybe 3 feet or more.
This is a true story.
You had it in the bag.
Yeah.
The very next person to step up, who was it, Tom?
It was Andrew Borum.
It was me. And what did I do, Tom? Tell me.
He held the putt.
I sure did.
The putt.
I sure did. Which is funny because I'm not a golfer, but I wanted everybody to hear that here since we have it on film.
You did. I will say that you learned a lot from my putt.
That is true. I got to see, and you know what? Actually, there's a corollary there between me learning from you coming up through the link group, right?
Sure.
I will say that you and I have played pickleball together for 5+ years now. We've done market research together for 15+ years now. I can unequivocally say that you're better than me at pickleball. But I gotta leave it there.
That's right, exactly. I love it.
Yeah, no, I will, like, getting a little bit sentimental, I will say that, obviously as the owner of the company and the person who hired me, I've been able to learn so much from you in my time here, especially once I joined the Durham office and had the proximity to you for the 10 or 12 years where we were both in the same office. And I feel like a lot of what I learned I can attribute to you. Just wanted to say that. So we at the Link Group always say that we're a continuously learning and growing organization.
That's true.
Do you feel like you're still, despite the years and years of playing golf and the 5-6 years of playing pickleball, learning and growing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, no question about it. Yeah.
Is there a limit to the skill, or is there always room for improvement on the court or on the course?
I think there's always room for improvement. I think the same way that there is always room for improvement like as a moderator. So I mean, you've been a moderator, you're an exceptional moderator. You have clients who come back to you again and again and again, and they're doing that because you do a great job, right? But if you think about the craft of moderating, you can get better at that forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think you can. And I think that that's absolutely true for tennis, for golf. Golf in particular can be a really frustrating sport, right? Because you can hit a really, really great shot and then you can hit a really, really crappy shot.
Sure.
And it's the same person swinging the same club, right?
Yep.
And what I would say is that, up until this past year, I had never broken 80 in my entire life playing golf. And I've been playing golf for 35 years, right?
Yeah.
And
did you do it?
I did do it. I was just playing with my son one day.
Yeah.
And just, for whatever reason, the shots that normally you miss, like you have a good shot and then you have a bad shot.
Sure.
I just didn't have any of the bad shots. I just had good shot after good shot.
Man, must feel nice.
It did feel nice.
Yeah.
Like, it felt fantastic. And then the next round, I shot a 92. So,
I mean,
right.
that's
However,
not bad.
Like you start growing, you start figuring, okay, why did I do that, and start doing some things. So
Yeah.
I think continually learning is something that you can always do.
Yeah.
And that's part of the appeal of golf too, is that every time you play a course, even if you played the course before, that round's going to be different.
Sure.
Right. Wind, weather.
They move the hole, don't they?
Move the hole. Yeah, exactly. So how you're playing, it's different. So I always liked a lot of different variety. And so there's a variety in that. But if you play a completely new course, it's a completely new experience too.
I love that. Let's relate that back to the job, because that feels like a pretty good correlation.
Sure.
Every time's different. It's a learning opportunity depending on the conditions, depending on where the hole's placed.
Yeah.
How does that relate to what we do here with clients?
Well, every single project is unique. So there's a business question, right? And then the clients will create a research objective based on that business question.
Yep.
And then we design the research, sometimes jointly with them, like, here's what we're going to go do. And then we have to actually execute it and do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, every single project, because of that, is unique and different. And not just what the question is being asked. You're going to work with different clients. You're going to, by clients, I mean companies.
Yep.
You're going to be working with different individual people, and what they need and want is going to be different.
Sure.
The person who's going to be supporting you, or you're going to be supporting as a linker, they're going to be different. And so what they need is going to be different. How you're going to put the report together is going to be different. It's just every single thing about it is different, every single project.
Yep.
And that's what really fed my variety. Why I really loved doing the research itself, because it was just always unique and individual. And you're trying to solve a problem too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It seems like we're kind of at the point where you're offering a little bit of advice. So I want to capitalize on that. I know that you're still involved in new hire recruiting, so talent acquison at the Link Group. What's the one piece of advice you would give somebody that's entering their career in market research?
The one piece of advice that I would give somebody, it's not necessarily if they were entering marketing research, things are sort of in general, right? And I can be a little more specific, is if you try to do a really good job of whatever it is that you're doing that day, things tend to work out pretty well for you, right?
I like
Regardless of what it is, you have to take it as a task, take it as a learning opportunity, and just do it, right? And they can do the same thing for, everybody can get better at PowerPoint, right? Everybody can get better at thinking about the design. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so I'm getting on a new project. Okay, I'm going to get on this project. Well, why is this let's say you just come on the project. Why was this the research design that we're doing? Like, you can just get on the project and just do the work, or you can actually think about, okay, why did we do this? Oh, that takes it to a different level, right? You're trying to learn and understand the research process, right? And you can do that. Somebody can do that from day one.
So I'm hearing, number one, apply yourself to whatever it is you're doing that day. And number two, lean in with curiosity.
Absolutely. I think it's a great way to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lean in with curiosity.
And I would argue that's not just for people starting their career. And I think you mentioned this. That's for anybody, right? I can take that advice and I can do something with it.
Absolutely. The more we lean in with curiosity, I think the better off that we are overall.
Yeah. So look, we're nearing the end of our time, but I want to think about 20 years from now. What do you hope for the Link Group 20 years from now? Where do you see it? What do you want it to be?
So I would want it to feel the same as it does today. In 20 years, it could be, it could be 3 times as big as it is now, right? Or whatever else. Who knows, right? I mean, that's the thing that's interesting, which is that, if we think about the entire marketing research landscape for the United States, right? And let's say that it was this entire wall behind us, okay?
Yep.
The Link Group is the dot on the I. Literally, that's how big we are relative to, because it's a $6 billion industry, right? We're 45 million, 50 million a year, right?
That's
Like that. So that's solid, right? We're doing a good job. We can go to 150 million and nobody even notices. like the industry wouldn't notice. So there is
Fair.
lots and lots of growth potential for the Link Group.
Yep.
And so what I would hope is that we continue to lean into that growth. We continue to, because we know that clients appreciate what we do.
Absolutely.
And so continue to build in such a way that we're able to provide the same type of product continually.
Yep.
And hire folks who want to be here
Yep.
and have the same culture. And, you know, the same way we went from 12 to 25 to 50 to 119 now or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no reason that culture can't stay at 200-300, right?
Absolutely.
So now I've said how I think it's going to be in 20 years. Now you're a partner. You're one of the partners.
That's right.
12, right? I think 10, 12.
I think there's 10, 11 of us now. We just welcomed one more in.
That's right. And an owner of the company now.
As we all are.
Where do you see the company in 20 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, similar to you, I don't want it to change. I've been here for 18 years because it's such an awesome place to work. The people are so caring and collaborative, and I don't want to lose that. It's also fun, right? We just have a good time.
Yeah,
this week, I mean, you just came for lunch as part of Spirit Week, right?
Absolutely.
Like, where else do you get to do that at work, right? So I don't want that to change. I do hope I'm on the golf course with you a little bit more in 20 years.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be 60 at that point, right? But yeah, I mean, I really do. I see us continuing to grow despite the economic downturns in the past and currently. We're still going gangbusters right now. So I think we're going to keep going up, but I don't want to lose that feel that we have because as cheesy as it sounds, it does feel a little bit like a family, right?
Okay. Yeah, it does.
I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
Especially hearing about your hobbies, and I know I've been involved a little bit in part of it, but I appreciate you sharing your perspective also on kind of how this all started and how we got to where we are today. Thanks for listening to Connection Point, a conversation series from the Link Group. You can connect with us on LinkedIn to keep the conversation going, and you will be able to find our information in the show notes below.